Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech, and I'm here with my 3-week review of the Oppo Reno 3 Pro. Now I just wanted to share some quick thoughts about this phone, and as I have been using it for 3 weeks, I really want to explain to you guys whether I will be keeping this longer term. So this phone, from the moment I picked it up, was really impressive. This gorgeous kind of satiny matte back. We got that ultra steady camera on this. Thin and light is the way I would describe this. Yes, there is no 3.5mm headphone jack, but that's the only nitpick to this phone from the hardware perspective. ColorOS is also much improved on this phone, and with a Snapdragon 765G, we've seen kind of a glimpse of what we're going to be seeing in a lot of phones coming up. And the other main factor of this phone, I think, has been just the blueprint that it's going to represent really for a lot of the upcoming OnePlus releases coming up very soon. And I think last but not least, it's been a gorgeous display, good dual firing speakers here, and I've just enjoyed using this phone quite a bit. So now it comes to the question, am I keeping this long term? I am not. And let me explain, guys, exactly why that is. This is a very cool phone, and yes, the Oppo Reno 3 series has been an interesting series. Here we have the Oppo Reno 3 regular, which I have not liked as much, and this one I'm definitely okay with kind of moving on from. But there's one phone that I picked up, as you guys know, that I just feel closer and liking a lot more than these two, and that is this one right here, the Realme X2 Pro. And when it comes down to it, guys, the Realme X2 Pro is the reason why I'm going to hold on to this one, and these two are going bye-bye. The Oppo Reno 3 Pro, it really does have an amazing feel in the hand, and with a gorgeous 6.5-inch AMOLED display, there's so much that you want to appreciate about this phone. But the one thing I can't appreciate is the price to performance ratio. At $500 US, you would expect and you would want just a little bit more. And I think at this price point, we're going to see phones this year with the Snapdragon 865 with even better specifications and with even faster wired charging, faster charging, just like the kind we see on the Realme X2 Pro. Now, the other day, guys, I used this at a Chinese New Year lunch, and my nephew was playing games non-stop. Let me show you some of the games he downloaded. He went nuts. He downloaded like 15 games and was playing them non-stop. This phone was down to 3%. We had somewhere we needed to be in about half an hour. I plugged this thing in, and in 25 minutes, it was at full charge. And just the battery charging of the Realme X2 Pro is something astounding. And any phone that now doesn't have that quick 50-watt charging, I just can't deal with it anymore. I've been spoiled by this Realme X2 Pro in terms of the fast charging, and both this Oppo Reno 3 and the Oppo Reno 3 Pro, they stick to that 30-watt wired charging, and it's just unfortunate because that should be a flagship feature on these phones. That should be available because it's available on a more budget Realme X2 Pro, and that just doesn't make any sense. And last but not least, I just think that there will be better versions of the usage of these chipsets in future phones. That's not to say that this phone isn't impressive, but I also do feel the Snapdragon 765G is just a little bit more compromised in terms of power than the 855 Plus. It's a weird moment where you actually would rather, well, I would rather take the 855 Plus in the Realme X2 Pro over the newer chipset. 5G is not here yet. It's almost like kind of we're early to the party here. Both of these phones have 5G capability. The Realme X2 Pro does not. And in this case, I just think this still is the more compelling phone for me to use and to review and compare to other phones, while these two really represent a future that is still a bit half-baked. It's not something that I think people are going to be worrying or clamoring for at the moment, and this Oppo Reno 3 Pro definitely is that. It's a phone that's ahead of its time, and it's a phone that I will definitely look fondly on as a really great version of those phones that will come out. But what are the things I haven't liked? One of the major things, guys, and you know this about me, I love my haptics. I'm a huge fan of good haptics in phones. And this Oppo Reno 3 Pro does not have a good vibration motor. I used to say it was kind of middle of the road. It was okay to decent. It's not very good. And every time I type on this thing, it just feels like a chore. The Realme X2 Pro, surprisingly, has a far better haptic vibration motor. And when you type on this thing, it is just gorgeous. It just feels so nice to use, and all the vibrations, they're just so much more premium feeling. Add to that the super fast charging and just the overall performance and the speed, the 90 hertz refresh rate, the flat panel display, and you have a phone that I just am going to choose to keep over the other two. And so this 3-week review of the Oppo Reno 3 Pro is my final review of it. I really do like this phone. I think it's an incredible piece of hardware, but what it lacks in those key areas. Also, the crazy omission of a better sensor on the back, the IMX586 instead of the 686 that was used on the Oppo Reno 3. So imagine that. You have a regular version that has a better sensor than the Pro version. Oppo, what were you thinking? Like, who made that decision? It almost seems like someone wrote it wrong on the specifications and it's like, oh, that must be a typo, right? No, they put the better sensor in the cheaper phone and they put the worst sensor in the Pro version. So this series is a good series, but I think overall it's a very confused series. And it's also a little bit more expensive than what I think it should be offering. And I can tell just by the interest of the audience, of you guys, it's not a series that you're really that jazzed about. So it's time to move on to a different series, and it's time for the Oppo Reno 3 Pro to ride off into the sunset. Thank you, Oppo Reno 3 Pro, and by association, thank you, Oppo Reno 3. A very interesting series, but there will be better phones that we will test in 2020, and I will definitely be holding on at least to this Realme X2 Pro to test next to them in the future. Anyways, that's it for this quick 3-week and I guess final video here on these Oppo Reno phones. Thanks for watching it. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Reggie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. So anyways, wow, what a crazy day, guys. Such sad news about the passing of Kobe Bryant. I definitely was a huge fan and I watched his final game. Really just a life cut short. Such a tragic story there. Condolences to his family, and to any of you guys who were fans, you know, condolences, and hope you guys are doing okay as well. Love your families, guys. Love them. Go give them a hug, because that's what life is all about. Life is too short not to love your family. So anyways, I love you all, guys. Thank you so much for your support, and this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one.